Hi and welcome to the Stamp Around UK vlog hop. So this month we're looking at texture and wanting to get loads of texture into your card making, which I do love doing anyway. So this was a really nice challenge for me. So how do we take our plain kind of die cuts, punched out shapes from kind of okay to fabulous? Look at these. So you may have come across already the fabulous In Bloom embossing folder, but we don't just have this embossing folder, we have plenty of others. But let me just go through a little technique that I've discovered. Now we've got a die that will cut out these floral shapes, which is fabulous, but I also wanted to see what other flowers we could place in here to get a really nice embossed effect. Put my teeth back in. Right, so for example, we've got this one here, and now this is from the, actually, you know what, I'll go through all the dies in a minute because I can't remember all the names. So I've sort of placed these pieces on top of here. Now this one is actually quite rather large and doesn't exactly fit. However, it doesn't really matter because even if it cuts it off a little bit, we can kind of forgive it because it just looks so fabulous. So you can place your, actually that's a bit too big, place your flowers over the top of these floral sort of elements and basically run it through your embossing cut and emboss machine as normal. The other great thing is that there are some leafy bits, so I'm just going to stick in some of these leaves, and although it doesn't come out, what's the word I want, exactly and precise to what they are, it doesn't really matter. Actually, I'm going to move that one up there. So I'm going to run this through my cut and emboss machine, and you will then see the effect of what happens. Now when you close it, you can see whether or not you've got these in the right place. So I'm going to run these through the machine and come back. So here it is. I'm just going to open this up now and take a look at the gorgeous floral. So that's, oops, that's roughly in the middle. That's okay. That one. And this one I think must have shifted a little bit before I put it through, but it's okay. It just adds just a really lovely extra element of texture. So the other dies that I've used are these ones here, the leaves from the Forever Fern Suite. And I put those through just a texture embossing folder. This one here, Tasteful Textiles. And it's great because it just adds kind of that lovely bit of extra texture there. Right, so the next thing I want to show you is how to get texture into your backgrounds. So I've got some pieces of basic grey cardstock here, and I want to put that through an embossing folder to just add some additional sort of, I don't want to use the word texture again because it's more than just texture, it's interest, embellishment, and so on. So I could just run that through as normal, but if you want some additional interest, what you can do is choose a colour, and I don't know, I'm wondering whether to go for Blackberry Bliss. Let's see what happens if I do this. So what I'm going to do is put some ink onto my embossing folder before I run it through, and there's going to be even more depth showing on this, and it's just such a fabulous thing to do. Actually, I'm going to move that over slightly. So I'm going to do this and come back again. So let's see how this has worked out, and look at that. The addition of that extra colour just makes the design really, really pop. So you could experiment with lots of different colours and so on with this. The other thing you could also try doing is perhaps putting it on the other side and doing the other kind of what's the other word I want? The relief side, I think it's called. So let's just stroke the ink pad, because what we're doing is actually inking up the raised area now, so we don't want to go in between too much, because then that wouldn't kind of show up. But let's have a look and see what happens. Oops. When I do this. Ta-da! Oh wow, so we've got that image really showing up there. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that for the background pieces, and then the last thing I want to do is use an embossing folder to, ouch, I've just dropped that on my foot. Didn't mean to do that. What I want to do is emboss some of these butterflies as well. So I'm going to have a look at my embossing folders and see what would look good. So I have this one here. It's like a kind of painted canvas effect. And I'm going to layer up those butterflies in there. I've got some flowers left over that I think might look quite nice with some added texture. And let's see what happens with this one. So let's take a look. So this just has a nice little bit of added texture, and I'm thinking I'm going to go in there with some ink just to ink up the edge of that one to make those a little bit more interesting. And now we also have that nice added bit of texture onto those flowers. Now these smaller flowers that I've got left over here, I'm wondering whether to put them through this finer embossing folder, because these are really quite small and I don't think they would stand up against a bigger, wider pattern. So I'm going to pop these through and then start making. Right, so here we have those final little pieces, and you can see how interesting they look now with all those additional bits of embossing done. Sorry about the change in lighting. It's sort of evening as I'm filming, and it was getting darker and darker in my craft room, so I thought, oh, I'm going to have to turn this light on. Right, so what I want to do now is use my beautifully embossed background pieces and just layer up some oh, I forgot to emboss that one. Oh, I might have to put that one through. I'm going to layer up all my beautifully embossed pieces to create a kind of floral display, as it were. So I'm just going to lay some leaves down. And because these have already gone through the embossing folder, I don't feel like I need to sort of add too much extra to these pieces. Got this leaf here, pop that there like that. And then let's bring on some of those beautiful florals. These remind me of rather expensive paper flowers that you can buy like this, you know, ready-made. But the beauty of being able to do it yourself is that you can create the precise colour that you want and, you know, make it to fit the project, your own, you know, your project and the colours, the colour scheme you want it to be. So that's nice, just that little cluster of 3 there. And then I might do the 2 similar ones together. And we do have these kind of like more circular ones that I thought we could layer up on top of each other. Though I've only got one of those. I've only got one, so I might move you over there. And then put a few of these smaller flowers here and there. There. And you can have some real fun playing with these, creating little floral accents. And then I don't want to forget these lovely leaves that I've created as well, and have these tucked in. A couple there. So remember, by clustering things together, you bring the eye towards it a bit more. I'm mixing up these textures, which is rather fun. And of course we've got this lovely butterfly, which I might just place. That one would go lovely there. Still got a few of these leaves left. Of course we can do some cute little centres to these flowers too. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this all down and come back to you, because I don't think you want to watch me sticking and gluing this process, but I will come back and show you what it finally looks like. See you soon. So here I have the finished stuck together pieces, and I ended up just using wet glue Tombow, because I felt that if I used any dimensionals it was going to make this two-dimensional, not TWO but TOO. So sorry. Now I want to put a little bit of embellishment onto my butterflies and some of the flowers, and in true keeping with the theme for this month, texture, I have chosen the elegant faceted gems, because when you look really close at these, they've got a beautiful kind of facet and texture to them. So I'm going to stick some of these larger clear faceted ones just down the body of my butterfly there, and so that there's a bit more of a kind of focal point. And I think, oh, 3 big ones and a little, oh, where's it gone? There, a little one, probably do it for that. And then these are a lovely kind of pale peachy colour, which absolutely fits beautifully with the kind of pale papaya cardstock that I've used there. And no, I'll go for a big one. Let's go for a big one there. Just use maybe a tiny one, a smaller one for that flower up in that corner. So there you have it, the finishing touch. I didn't end up putting any extra ink on these because, to be honest, I forgot, but I don't think perhaps they need it. I mean, if you want to do that, that's fine, but I think it's just the overall look is just so nice and textured. I mean, how many times can I say that on a video? Right, let's pop some more of these gems on here. So the colours I've used, the background, this dark grey here is basic grey, and I've gone and stuck them onto a base of a lighter grey, and I've got a feeling this one is smoky slate and this one is grey granite, so you can sort of tell a little bit of the difference there. And I stroked Blackberry Bliss over the embossing folder that, now is it called, I think it's called Parisian embossing folder, and I will go through all the other dies with you in case you wanted to have a go at this. But I would encourage you to have a look at the embossing folders that you already have and have a play with cutting out maybe a whole bunch of flowers and putting them through your embossing folders, just see what results come out. So we've got this one, the Bloom embossing folder, which is a new one in the catalogue. Tasteful texture. Now this one was with the Art Gallery suite. I've got a feeling it's called something like Canvas, but I could be wrong. And it's got quite bold, big kind of design on there. And then there you can still see the Parisian one because I haven't cleaned it yet, but there we go. And it's got a symmetrical design, just letting you know that, because sometimes it is nice to use that symmetry. I'm actually wondering how interesting it would have looked if I'd put a butterfly right in the middle there and embossed that. I'm just going to squeeze down to see if I can impart some of that colour, but look, there we go, just a tiny little bit of it. That would be interesting to put some butterflies down the middle and have those embossed. And I just think they look like really expensive embellishments that you would purchase from a craft store. So the Brilliant Wings dies was what I used to cut out the butterflies. The Forever Flourishing dies is what I used to cut out the lovely leaves in the background there. And the Pierced Blooms dies is what I used to cut out these lovely flowers. So thank you so much for joining me today. Lovely to have your company. Please do go and have a look in the description and check out all the other hoppers in this this month's theme, and have a look and see what they've created. Sorry, my words are just running away with me today. Right, take care for now, and see you again soon. Bye.